Now let's share with you some marketing tips. Our emphasis with marketing and patients has always been focused on patient retention. It is so important to make sure that your patients come back to you on a regular basis and that you have offers and services that will attract them. A very simple way to achieve this, and something that you might do already, is always to make sure that at the end of a patient's treatment, you rebook them for a follow-up. This could be in a week or even 3 months' time. As long as you get a date booked in the diary, you can relax, as you know you will be seeing that patient again. There is nothing worse in my mind than a happy patient going away and saying they will be in touch or they will see how things get on. Of course, you cannot hold the patient down and not let them out until they rebook. But there is nothing stopping you having the diary ready and suggesting some dates. The other side of this issue is when you have a cancellation. There is nothing that can be done to change this, but when it happens, ensure that you try to get into the habit of making a new booking as soon as they cancel. If they telephone and leave a message, the same applies. It never does any harm to return the call or send an email expressing your concerns that they are okay and to suggest booking a date for their appointment in the future. If, as a practitioner, you maintain constant contact with your patients and keep an efficient diary, you should always have a healthy and busy practice. We will review some of these tips later and organize them into some user-friendly reminders to help jog your memory. Of course, the main idea behind this is to help you market cosmetic acupuncture and to bring prospective patients into your practice. The same methods and techniques can be used for any type of acupuncture or business. It is simply a case of tailoring them to suit your current need. Let us break down the subject of marketing into some bite-sized chunks that we can take in more easily. This is probably the most overlooked but most accessible opportunity to add business to your practice. Think about every patient that you treat. Obviously, they are happy with the service that you have given them. Otherwise, they would not be a regular patient. During the time that you have been seeing them, you will have built up a sound knowledge of their background and personality. More importantly, they will trust your abilities and judgment. So, before you even start to think about an advertisement in the paper, start talking to your regulars. Ask them questions. Would they like to try ACULIFT treatment? Perhaps you might like to offer them a special discounted treatment as a thank you for being a loyal patient. Have some discount vouchers printed and give them to patients to pass on to friends and relatives. This is a good way to spread the word. Another effective method of advertising to your regular patients is to organize an open day or evening where you will be demonstrating the new treatments and answering any questions about what you have to offer. Remember, old or lapsed patients. I am sure you have a filing cabinet of files for patients who have not been to your practice for a while. With a new treatment to offer, this provides a perfect opportunity to rekindle some interest and get them back in to see you. Of course, they may also have some friends or relatives who may be keen to try acupuncture. So put together a professional letter along the lines of, "It has been a while since we saw you at the clinic, so we would like to let you know about some exciting new developments that I am sure will be of interest." Remember to include some discount vouchers too. You can be very daring in your marketing to existing patients. It can take some bravery on your part, but it can also bring long-term dividends. Perhaps take a look at your patient database and list your top 50 regular patients. Then produce a card or email that thanks them for their continued support and offer them a free ACULIFT treatment. There is a possibility that you may get a few joking responses. So, you think I need something done with my face? However, remember that anyone can benefit from ACULIFT. Young or old, male or female. This type of marketing is extremely powerful. If you look at it more carefully, you are thanking one of your most loyal patients by offering them a free treatment. Obviously, this free offer does not cost you this much amount, but your patient does not see this. They only see the free treatment. It might go against your business ideals to be giving away treatments, but do not look at it as giving something away. Look at it as an investment in your new business. These 50 patients are the core of your business. They will spread the word, and more importantly, they will rebook if they like the treatment that you provide. And that brings us nicely into the next step of using your existing patient base to its full. Introduce a refer a friend scheme. You could set up a system that rewards your patients when they introduce a new patient to your clinic. Perhaps a discount off of their next treatment for every new patient they introduce. Printing some referral cards can be a simple and effective way of marketing your practice. Whilst you are having this printed, you could also opt to produce some patient loyalty cards. These are a great way to retain your patients and also introduce them to your new treatments. One suggestion might be to stamp the patient's card every time they have a treatment, and then as a bonus, the 10th or 12th treatment could be a free ACULIFT treatment. This is a great way of keeping your patients loyal and also thanking them for their continued custom. This section is particularly relevant to practitioners just starting out, but can apply to anyone seeing a dip in trade or for general maintenance of your diary. There are so many ways that you can attract new patients to your clinic. The main thing is to think about who you are trying to attract and not to waste money on general advertising that, in my experience, very rarely works. When thinking of ACULIFT, a certain client stream will initially come to mind, who might like to try ACULIFT, perhaps as an alternative to other facial procedures. Approach a few local hairdressers in your area. See if they might be interested in advertising your ACULIFT to their clients. You can reward them for displaying your leaflets, perhaps with a commission for anyone they send your way. They might even like the idea of you doing a demonstration evening for their clients. Further down the line, you may even find an establishment with a spare room that you could rent on a regular basis and offer on-site treatments directly to their clients. Obviously, ACULIFT is for both sexes, but of course, it is only natural that it is going to appeal to women more than men. Do some research into groups and organizations in your area that cater mainly for women. This could be organizations like the Women's Institute or other groups that meet on a regular basis. We have found that groups such as these are always looking for speakers at their meetings, and this is a great opportunity to gather 20 or 30 women in one place to talk about your subject. The prospect of talking to a hall of 30 people might not be for you, but try not to dismiss the idea too quickly. In general, they will only require you to speak for 30 to 45 minutes, and that is not too long to talk about a subject that you are knowledgeable and passionate about. From our experience, you do not need any fancy props or projectors. We simply take along a few needles so that we can dispel the myths, and then we talk about acupuncture and how it can help. We then let the audience ask a few questions, and before you know it, nearly an hour has passed. Make sure you have plenty of leaflets on hand, and also take along your diary, as some people will want to book an appointment there and then. Make sure you are ready to take these bookings. Leaflet drops are another way of getting the word out. In our experience, they are generally more successful than newspaper advertising, but not as good as regular talks and more direct marketing. Leafleting can get the word out very quickly, but do not expect a huge response. The odds are very low when it comes to this type of marketing. We usually look at perhaps a 2% response rate. So for every 1,000 leaflets, we would expect to get 20 new patients. However, by making your leaflets more attractive and aiming them at a specific sector of the public, this should help to improve the take-up odds. It is also important to have a clear call to action on your flyer, perhaps with a code, so that you know exactly how successful your campaign has been. A well-designed, targeted leaflet with an offer is more likely to be pinned to a notice board or fridge, rather than finding its way straight to the dustbin. Leafleting should be part of an overall marketing campaign and should not be your sole method of attaining new business. Coupled with other forms of direct marketing, it can be a powerful tool to build your brand locally. We should not overlook other forms of media, such as local radio and, of course, television. Television can be difficult to get onto, but local radio is a very realistic option for your marketing. We all have nearby stations that may be interested in hearing from you. They all have time spots to fill and would be really interested to hear about what you do. Of course, you cannot just use the radio to advertise unless you pay for airtime, but what you can do is use any airtime that you do get to spread the word and create awareness of what you are offering. An effective way of introducing yourself to radio stations and also getting free coverage in newspapers is to produce a press release. A press release is a simple and concise document that informs the reader of something new and or something that they might find interesting. There are many websites that can help you to produce a press release, and it really is a worthwhile thing to do. Journalists are always on the lookout for items with a difference or that have relevance to topics in the national news. By sending your press release to the radio stations and also local newspapers, this could achieve airtime or editorial that could be worth a lot more than some paid advertising. People like to hear from and deal with experts in their field. And after all, that is what you are. You have trained for years to do what you do and continue to gain experience treating your patients in your clinic. As well as the talks and lectures to groups, you might also like to consider writing short pieces for local magazines and community newspapers. Again, this is not a direct form of advertising, but a way of drip feeding awareness to people and letting them know what you are offering and where they can go to benefit from your expertise. The benefit of being in practice these days is the access we all have to the internet and social media. We can communicate with hundreds, if not thousands, of potential new patients at the click of a button. As a basic requirement, we would recommend that every practice has its own website, even if it is only a basic one-page site that you can add to as the practice grows. Make sure that your website tells people exactly what you do and where they can find you. You also need to ensure that your contact details are clear and easy to see so that potential patients can readily book an appointment to see you. This may sound obvious, but it is surprising the number of websites we have come across that have not considered this. Also, your website should be a place of information and not just somewhere to advertise your business. You want visitors to keep coming back to your site on a regular basis, and they will only do this if the site is interesting and offering new information. Nothing is worse than an old site that displays the same material. It is beneficial to keep the site as fresh as you can. Make sure your website address is displayed on all of your literature and business cards. It needs to become the focus of your business, the place that tells people what is happening and keeps them updated with the latest developments. You could also incorporate or link your own blog page to your website. I am sure you are familiar with blogs and may already write your own, but for those who are not, a blog is where you write about a variety of topics online. Subjects could be acupuncture or yourself, right through to developments in your clinic or the services that you offer. Again, it is more of a tool to provide information and resources than a direct sales aid, but it will help to develop and build your profile, which can direct business to your practice. There is a vast array of social media avenues to explore. Too many to mention here. For your clinic, you should predominantly use Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. We have gradually gained a good following on Facebook, and our Twitter account is linked to this. Social media can be time-consuming to maintain, but it is also very immediate and gets your message in front of an audience that has chosen to connect with you. This provides a distinct advantage over other types of marketing, as long as you are using it to engage with your community rather than solely to promote your business. I believe it can be a great addition to your marketing strategy. Our advice would be to aim most of your posts at providing information and resources to your audience rather than direct selling. One of the best ways of doing this is to produce a newsletter, perhaps monthly or quarterly. Use this as a chance to tell potential patients what has been happening at the clinic and any exciting new developments that are occurring. Of course, remember to provide your readers with resources and information. It is not all about selling. Your newsletter should be giving people information of value that they find interesting, that they want to share with their friends. It should be engaging so that your audience will want to read more and receive future issues. You may wish to provide an incentive to encourage people to sign up to your newsletter, such as a free guide, ebook, or some top tips related to health and well-being that you have written. Many of the email marketing companies have a facility for automated emails that can be sent out when someone chooses to add themselves to your mailing list. It is all well and good having a brilliant website and engaging social media communities, but how do people find you in the first place? An effective website will have search engine optimization in place and will climb to the first page of Google or other well-known search engines for relevant terms. You can also set up pay-per-click advertising campaigns that will direct people to your website or within Facebook, for example. This could be an effective method of promoting your online presence, but you will need to have a realistic budget in place and regularly quantify the results to get the best out of your campaigns. However, some people will still prefer to find practitioners through a trusted network or professional body, and will look to these registers to find a qualified practitioner first. As a certified acupuncturist based in the Philippines, you should be a member of the Philippine Academy of Acupuncture, Inc., and potential patients can find you through their website. You may practice Western medical acupuncture or auricular acupuncture, or you may be a physiotherapist who has undertaken training in acupuncture. Each of these modalities will have their own societies or regulating bodies, and we have listed some of those that are located in the resources section. Membership of a site pertaining to your training can lend weight to your profile and reassures potential patients of your qualifications. There is a cost involved, and some of our colleagues have chosen to opt out of such groups, but from a personal perspective, we have found membership to be beneficial to our practice. One of the major assets of these associations is that they provide a hub of information about the service that you are offering, building awareness of what you practice and enabling potential patients to discover more about acupuncture and how it can help them. The member areas also often provide the opportunity to talk with fellow practitioners about your business and the profession as a whole. The best way to bring all of these marketing ideas together, especially the website and the social media aspects, is to develop a brand for your business. A branding gives your business an identity that potential patients can recognize and relate to. Branding covers everything from your business logo through to the colors that you use on your printed literature and website. Your logo is important, but it does not need to be anything too grand. It might even just be your own name written in a style and color that people will remember. The key is to create a uniform look that flows through all of your stationery, such as your business cards, flyers, letterhead, and advertising. This should then tie into your online presence, which will give a look and feel that endorses your professional skills. Good branding will give potential patients confidence in you and how you operate. With any of these ideas that we have put forward, there is no need to employ expensive companies to develop things. Of course, you can invest in this if you choose, but these ideas can also be implemented by the individual. With a little thought and imagination, you will be able to put forward a brand, an image that you can be proud of. The tips and ideas that we have outlined to help with the development of your new ACULIFT business are simple, but when put together can be very powerful at attracting new business. The ideas can be used in whole or in part, but our advice would be to employ as many of the suggestions as possible. If you do that, we can almost guarantee that you will have a full diary now and into the future. We have broken our marketing tips down into a few easy stages below that summarize the suggestions that we have made. Some options will depend on your budget, but many simply need an investment of your time. In that respect, there is absolutely nothing to lose by giving some of these ideas a try, and I am sure that you will be pleased by the results that can be achieved. Introduce a refer a friend scheme or loyalty card for existing patients. Run a clinic open evening to introduce ACULIFT. Carry out a targeted leaflet drop for ACULIFT. Approach local groups to do talks. Produce an ACULIFT press release and send it to local radio, newspapers, and magazines. Develop or improve your website. Set up social media accounts such as Facebook and Twitter. Look into adding your contact details to relevant online directories or becoming a member of a professional body, network, society, or association. Start a practice newsletter. Develop your practice branding. What to expect from ACULIFT? So, what's the difference between facelift and ACULIFT? Facelift or rhytidectomy is surgical removal of wrinkles, abstraction of excess skin from the face, and tightening of underlying issues, while ACULIFT stimulates face muscles and aids production of natural collagen in the dermis. Targeting muscles will have overall lifting effect. The secret of successful and beneficial ACULIFT treatment is to manage patients' expectations. When you first talk to your patient, ask them to describe to you what they think about their appearance. What would they like to change? Ask them to show you area of the face that they are not happy with and make a note of their comments. One dramatic improvement that patients often report is that quality of their skin is vastly improved, even after only the first treatment. When you add stimulation effect of needles, this is improving circulation and blood flow to the skin surface. This can in turn reduce redness and improve overall definition of skin. Another noticeable improvement is reduction in puffiness of some areas of the face. Two main areas of the face mentioned most in a consultation are lines between the eyes at the bridge of the nose and the line that runs from corner of the mouth to the edge of the nose, the nasolabial fold. ACULIFT is very successful at reducing appearance of lines in these two areas. Drooping eyebrows tend to drag a person's face down. ACULIFT can be really effective in helping to lift patients' eyebrows. Tighten muscles in the face and neck in order to reduce the appearance of jowls. Thank you very much for joining our Zoom. Good evening.